Excellent. We have Maryland right behind you and Orlando Park. So all these go straight down. Okay, well, everyone have a Merry Christmas? Did Papa Noel get to you? Good. You were born in New Jersey. That's because you wanted to be next to your mama. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3. We're doing some Creole food. Did everyone just arrive here today?
No, we're staying in Mississippi at my grandmother's farm. We just came into town for the day.
Oh, nice. That's good. Now everyone have their cameras out because you know they turn you back at the airport if you don't take enough pictures of our city. They don't let you go home. Right over there we have Jackson Brewery. And the Jackson Brewery used to be a brewery, now it's a big shopping mall. And on the top floor, the third floor, right over there, they have all the restaurants. And if you're not sure you're gonna like our food, everyone likes our food. Put a little spoon and they let you taste whatever is there. So go take that out.
Oh, that sounds good.
Then right behind Jackson Brewery, you see there, that's the Natchez. And the Natchez is our only steam-powered paddle wheeler, or a steamboat. Now one time, up and down the Mississippi here, right off Jackson Square, you could have up to 300 riverboats docked here. And there were 3 miles long of warehouses. Sugar cane and cotton and rice and indigo, those are the main crops. The bridge was just built in the mid-1900s, and prior to that, they used to have to take a ferry back and forth to get across the river. And on the other side of the river, that's called Algiers Point. Now, anyone needs a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt, there's the Hard Rock Cafe. But what I like is over in the French market, they have a play on words. They have the Hard Rock t-shirt, and it's got an alligator. It's the same emblem with an alligator.
Oh, Hard Rock New York.
Huh?
No, there's a Hard Rock here.
Hard Rock here too.
Oh, wow. I've always wanted to get a t-shirt.
Yeah, I've read it twice in 2 books.
Oh, look at that. No drugs or nuclear weapons.
Now we're on
found
St.
inside.
Louis Street. This is St. Louis Street here. We enter the French Quarter. 2 times the poor boys on the street. Me and Johnny's. Now Johnny's is delicious. You have a poor boy?
Yeah, we just went to Atkins.
Oh, of course. Well, when you order a poor boy, you gotta order it dressed. Because we're too close to Bourbon Street and there's so many places that you don't get dressed no more. And here's the fanciest little bathroom shop you ever saw in your life. Everything's just what you need. Come on, go. The hotel right in front of us here, this is the Omni Royal. Used to be the side of the St. Louis Hotel. And the St. Louis Hotel was a Creole hotel in antebellum times. And through the Civil War, 200 to 400 slaves a day would be sold there. And it was Monday through Friday, noon to 4, and that's the place where they gave the first free lunch, so they didn't interrupt the proceedings for the day. And New Orleans and the sales business would meet over here. Here at Maspero's Slave Exchange. And they'd swap papers over the New Orleans invention, the cocktail. This is where this was. Napoleon House is right over here. This was never occupied by Napoleon. However, they wanted him to. He was in exile in St. Helena. Mayor Gerard bought the home. The gazebo or problem, sorry. It's on the top there. That was put on so that hopefully Napoleon could watch out and rule the river. Now New Orleans has a tradition as far as eating goes. They have to have breakfast at Brennan, and right over there is Brennan's. That pizza. Right there, that's Brennan's. Breakfast at Brennan's. Brunch at the Quarter Two Sisters. We're going to go by there. and dinner at Antoine's. It's right up ahead of us too. But don't do it all on the same day. You get fat and go broke. Eggs right now at Brennan's are $35 an order.
Whoa.
That's some expensive chickens. This is Royal Street. And when you go shopping on Royal Street, you better be royal. There's the prices on. Antoine's right here. Famous and fabulous. Dates back 1840, pre-Civil War. Fantastic food. Nothing else you can say about it. You gotta sort of grab them up. Bourbon Street, ladies and gentlemen. Naughty is bawdy, it's bad, it's gaudy. It's safe. But my favorite places in Griffiths, believe it or not. And then, down the street, you have the female amateur wrestlers, and they are fully clothed. But what they do is they take on the gentlemen that wish to test their skills. And what I do is I bring my cousin down every time he upsets me. Rather than bruise my knuckles, I bring him down and I say, I can't hear what they're saying. Let's get close. And I push him right into her eyes. And when she gets it, they don't let go. He's a famous quarter two sisters and we did hot line. And a side on board. And down this street. Right down this street, we have Pat O'Brien's, right there. Okay, now that building used to be the old Spanish Theater. And right next to it, the dark room, the gray stucco, that's Preservation Hall, the best show in town. Pure jazz. We're gonna go, it's time to get busy. Now, you gotta get there an hour early. So you gotta get there about 6 o'clock, I'd say. Make sure $2 admission it used to be, I think it still is. It's here anyway. No seats, no drinks, pure jazz. Great show. Home of the original Bourbon Street Beauty. The Bourbon Orleans Hotel houses the Quadroon Ballroom, the famous Quadroon Ballroom, where the Ginger Believe place, or the Free Women of Color, used to be introduced to white gentlemen, Creoles, and then they'd enter into the system called Dressage. They would become evil mistresses. Right over there, Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. Now it's a shop, but I want to tell you, voodoo is an ongoing practicing religion in this town. And you can get any sort of gree-gree you need in there. And gree-gree is lucky charm. Whoops. Gree-gree is the lucky charms of the voodoo. And straight behind us, just before we go, y'all turn around, you can see the eyes. Now at night you're going to see it's going to be all lit up. That's Armstrong Park. Right back there. Looks like a wheel. We're going to go head back. See the arch. That used to be Congo Square, and that's where Marie Laveau would go out with hundreds of blacks, and they'd be half-dressed dancing the bamboula. And she'd go out there with her giant snake. Some say it was 12 feet long, some say it was 20. Everyone says its name was Zombie, though, and it was big. and to dance. They throw up in a cauldron and they dance the bambola, mix up burnt chicken bones, snake skin, cat head, and then there's juju juice. And juju juice is a special ingredient that you dip your gree-gree in. Now don't go in the restaurant and order this because nothing you want to eat because gree-gree has gopher dust, burnt chicken bones, and gopher dust is dirt from a fresh grave. But it can find you a love, keep a love, or it can get rid of a love, or it can keep a secret. And one man supposedly paid $10,000 for his gree-gree, so that kept a good secret. Hi, how you doing, hon? Head towards Jackson Square there. On this side, we're going to be right over here, this is the presbytere. And the presbytere was translated to be the priest's house, although it was never used as such. It went immediately after being built into becoming a building owned by the city, the church owned by the city. And this iron building, this iron thing you see here, it's in a whale. That's the Confederate submarine that was used during the Confederate Civil War 3 times by the Confederates, and it's pedal powered, just like a bicycle. And it's sunk in Lake Pontchartrain on the 3rd time they used it. A nice little baby shop right here, and you know what you can get here? It's sort of unique to bring back home and everything. A loaf of French bread, and they cut it and shoot it in alligator bread. So it's something different.
That's neat.
Now the architecture down here, and you gotta keep through all these little courtyards and all these little gateways, because you never know what you're gonna find. The whole world back there. These highways, pay attention to what's going on. You just hide it all away. I'm gonna bring you down. Hold on to the nation. See the way our houses are. This is a Spanish style house. The house, the courtyard, and these little half houses, these are slave quarters, or what we call quarter houses. This type house here, this is a Creole cottage. And if you notice, the Creole cottages have doors all the way across the front. That's because we had a tax law. We had a tax law saying that windows on the street were taxed. Doors weren't. So instead of this house here, this is the famous house. It's called Madame John's Legacy. And it's the 2nd oldest French building in the Mississippi River Valley. The oldest is the Ursuline Convent. In fact, they're the only 2 real French buildings left. Everything else was burnt down in 2 great fires we had in the 1700s, 1800s, and the hurricanes. The French can build very good structures and buildings. I let you go by before, sir. Come on. So our architecture is all Spanish for the most part. Our food is French and our lifestyle is bohemian. That's the best way to describe it. Straight up the head again, that's our top out. By the way, this is the New Orleans Voodoo Museum. That's what I'm looking at. Again, we got Spanish house and also our balconies. We have 3 kinds of ironwork. This, by the way, this is the Caribbean First, they raised up. When the exiles from Haiti and Saint Domingue came over, they came over, they brought that design with them. They were French, but they were from the island. Now, you've probably all been by Pirates Alley before. Well, Pirates Alley is a fraud. It wasn't built till the 1900s. However, this is a real Pirate's Den. This is John Lafitte's blacksmith shop. Well, let you peek inside. We'll say hi to everyone in there. It's a neighborhood corner barn. Dates back to the 1750s, and not sure exact date on it. John Lafitte was not a blacksmith, he was a pirate. And he was the terror of the Gulf. He was the most famous and the wealthiest pirate you've ever heard stories of. He raided all the Spanish ships. He flew as a privateer under the flag of Cartagena. And into that building there, he smuggled in all the goods the Creoles wanted. The gold, the lace, the silks, the satins, the jewels. Everything they wanted or needed, because they didn't want milk pails and spinning wheels. They weren't American colonists. They were wealthy Europeans, Spanish, and they wanted their luck. 80,000 slaves he snuck into the city through there, millions of dollars worth of goods, because underneath us, there are 35 tunnels, all dug by slaves. And they're all secret tunnels, and they led from the river, right by the levee system. And right through there, that's where he snuck them in. Now, as the city finds these tunnels, they close them, or they use them for our electrical wires, because as you see, we have no wires above ground. And every once in a while, they find a new tunnel. And they go in and out through water. School over here. This is John McDonough's school number 15. There are 35 schools named after Mr. McDonough. He was a slave owner, but he was a different type. He was considered a radical. He believed in education for everyone, and he educated his slaves. Not only did he educate them to read and write, but he also educated them in a skill or a trade so that they could be self-sufficient. And he owned thousands of slaves, and after 14 years of working for him, he freed them. He freed them, and the African nation of Liberia, most of the old families claim to be descended from his stock.
I have a question.
Of course.
How many tunnels have they found so far?
Well, I know there's two that they haven't found. My friend owns some property on Royal Street here, and he swears that there's 2 tunnels leading through his. So they found a lot of them. But there were 35 individual tunnels, but there was a series, all connecting, going up and down. I know there's one right in fact further up, heading towards Armstrong Park, because our electric wires hooked up to there when it flooded a couple of weeks ago. Came up. And as they're pumping it out, because underneath us, they pump water 24 hours a day. We have pumps going on underneath us to keep us dry. We're 4 feet below sea level right now. So, anyway, they're pumping it out. My cousin goes to the store. And he has a handful of coins, just enough to get whatever he was going to get, candy or cigarettes, and I'll show you. As they're pumping, out comes old water. He tried to drop the coin, he picked it up. There was an old coin dated 1830. And they pumped it right out of the thing. Now everyone knows Princess Grace of Monaco, right? She was an American princess. The oldest and the first American princess of Monaco was Alice Hines. And that's where she grew up. Right over here, this was her home. She married a Prince Rainier. In fact, his name was Prince Albert as well, but this was years ago. But after producing an heir for Monaco, she decided to run off with the piano player, so that's how she spent the rest of her life. She kept her title and kept her money, but she kept the piano player too. And right over here, this is the One-Star Prince Hotel. Not a hotel, but the story behind it is a Creole gentleman he married a Midwest farmer's daughter's wife, and she missed her farm. So there was a farm. So he sent up to Pennsylvania, and he had that fence built. So every morning he could go out on the balcony and see farms there. We're back on Royal Street, and we're going to go see the Oceanic Home. Those are two nice shops. In Pratt, Louisiana, they have original souvenirs made by the Houma Indians. Now, the Houma Indians are from the local time. And they have all manufactured goods there. So that's kind of something different.
Have they ever found anything in the tunnels below?
Probably, the best way to see anything that they might find would be either here at the Presbyterian, because this is one of the museums. In the Presbyterian, they Louisiana have all the artifacts that they find around there. Also, we have a Confederate museum. That's over in the Garden District of the Circle. And what they have in the Presbyterian also is they have Napoleon's death mask in brass. The original death mask of Napoleon.
How did it get here?
Well, the legend I heard was that it came over with his physician, because like I said, Napoleon was invited to live here, but he died 2 days before the ship took off to rescue him. But they did, they say, bring back his brother, and that one of his brothers, and brought back his doctor. And so the man came back with his doctor. Another legend also has it that Napoleon, on the QU, buried Napoleon and John Lafitte out in Barataria, in the swamp south of us, in Barataria, the secret grave site. And that they buried together. Especially through here, you got appreciation of the courtyard, but there's more house back there than there is on the street. Now, I don't know what y'all have for pets, but I'll tell you, there's two zoos in this city. I tell everyone there's two zoos. The Audubon Zoo, which is really nice, and the French Quarter, because what you keep for pets around here is unbelievable. I got 3 ferrets. This is a nice little restaurant, by the way. You come over here, meet us, and you tell them the buggy driver sent you, they'll give you a good deal. Okay, and now you smell the food. The owner of this one here, they used to work for Chef Big Paul. This is the name of Creole chef. He's a big fat Creole chef. They worked 12 years for him. They're both master chefs. They opened it, and the prices are, I think, $150.
What's her name?
It's Bruce and Brian.
What was the price again?
$150 the price. It's like gumbo, you get a regular price, like $2.50. That's where we go all the time. And you can get jambalaya for $5, you know. But when you go over to Cape Cod, it's expensive. And waiting in line. And you tell them they can send you over and told him that he had to give you some bread pudding on the house. Little Ignat. Ignat's our favorite saying. That's a little bit something just to be nice people. Cost nothing. It's something for you. Right over here, this is the Ursuline Convent. The Ursuline Convent, this is the oldest French structure. Now, it's owned by the Archdiocese now, the convent on here that was built in 1751 to house the Ursuline nuns. The Ursuline nuns came over at request of Governor Bienville. Oh, I gotta show you this. Back up. And they brought with them medicine, religion, and the casket girls. They brought the young maids from France. And those are the ones there. Look at the house now. It's all melted now. This is Beauregard Key's home. And General PGT Beauregard, he came back from the Civil War. His first wife died. We all set? First wife died and remarried again, and this is the second honeymoon. It's open to the public, and if you want to see an antebellum mansion, I recommend this one if you don't have a chance to go out. house right over there, right up top of that attic. Instead of going by the house, I want to show you the attic there. Okay. That home right there with that little attic up top there, that's the haunted house of Madame LaLaurie. That's at 1146 Royal Street. The house is haunted. Madame LaLaurie was a beautiful woman. She was a Creole, had a large house, obviously very wealthy. But during some of her many parties, or dinners or balls, she would get the vapors or a headache, or something would upset her. Well, it's not haunted by Madame LaLaurie, it's haunted by the ghosts of all the slaves that she tortured and mutilated because she was a sadist. And she would go up to the attic, excuse herself from the body, go up to the attic, whip, torture, mutilate, and smash the throat of slaves by the dozen. The house caught on fire. As it was burning, the flames rose up to the attic. Well, a couple of the slaves, when such pain, they ripped their arms from the walls, left their arms hanging there, and jumped to their death. And a young girl, she used to buy, for her torture, she used to buy the children, the elderly, and the old and sickly. These are the cheapest slaves. People in New Orleans were fed up. They had enough. They didn't know this was happening. It was inhumane. Instead of putting out the fire, they threw fiery torches at her buggy and drove her out of the city, never to let her return again.
What happened to her?
No one's sure. Some people say she went and lived in Paris, outside Paris, and others say she went to her grandparents' plantation that had been abandoned. Her and the mulatto slave, and they hid out there, but she never came out in public again.
How did people know that she tortured the slaves?
Because as the fire went up to the top of the house, they saw the slaves, and they heard them. They always wondered where she went, because they didn't know she went out. And they always wondered what the moans were, because the house is stucco insulated, so it's thick. The neighbors could hear it.
Is she still alive?
No, this was 100 years ago. He's gone. I didn't see it. The house is mostly empty. Only 3 apartments along the Two. 2 apartments. Come on, go. I described, I told you, all doors to keep from taxes. And if you look up top, there's the French doors up there. Then we have a wall reinforcement here. The broken glasses to keep out the intruders. Windows on the side, slave quarters with the wooden balconies on the back. Slave quarters would be the stable. That little green roof there probably was the kitchen, because the kitchen was kept outside. Real pretty character with the gas lights right there, fountain and the garden in the back. Now the city's full of people of all sorts of legends. Another one we have is Don Pepe. Don Pepe was a famous duelist. And during that time, dueling, eating, and drinking seemed to be the famous pastimes of people. Well, he was a short little Creole. He wasn't very tall. He had a thick mustache. And he liked women, especially married women. So while other people were fighting duels of honor or duels for money, Don Pepe used to fight for the women's favors. He liked collecting girlfriends. And if she happened to be married, it didn't much matter because New Orleans was a Catholic city and you couldn't divorce. So the easiest way to get rid of a husband was to put your husband's name in a handkerchief and drop it at Don Pepe's feet. The next week you'd be a widow and very wealthy. Well, Don Pepe was sort of a game with him to the point that 41 wins, no losers, and he was so arrogant he bought his own cemetery just to show off. He died of old age. He was in his 80s and he amused himself later on in life by shooting flower pots outside of his servant's arms. This is the open air French market. It's the oldest market in the New World. And it is the largest. It dates back before Europeans because the Indians used to trade here. Straight ahead down there, that's the old U.S. Mint. And if you see that little green building under the flagpoles, it's not a building. That's a streetcar named Desire. That's the famous one. Well,
they wrote a play.
Tennessee Williams wrote a book, right? He wrote right on St. Peter's Street. St. Peter's and Royal, right there. Streetcar named Desire. Now that U.S. Mint that was in operation produced more coins until 1920 than anyone else. The only time it was interrupted was during Confederacy, the Civil War, when the Confederates were. Everything you never want to spend money on in your life is down here. Gold, silver, all sorts of jewelry, eelskin, leather, t-shirts. Right over there in that stand, you get your Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt for $4, which is better than $13 at Hard Rock Cafe. But right over here, this is my favorite place. This is where I come over and I get boiled crawfish already cooked, ready to eat. They also make smoked alligator sausage already cooked to eat. You can get a little chunk on a stick too.
What on the stick?
Alligator sausage. Yeah. And right over here, the best place for t-shirts. The owner's a nice guy. And you get your Mardi Gras coins, see the little Mardi Gras coins, and the Mardi Gras beads. And you tell him Nicky the buggy driver sent you, he'll give you a good deal. But you gotta go home with Mardi Gras coins. You know those are collector's items. They're printed once a year. Yeah, you must, huh?
My mother was a kid.
Was she?
Yeah, yeah.
Which crew?
Jacqueline Dillard.
I'm not familiar with her, but what crew? Oh. Well, that's a rare and a unique fauna.
We have some calendar staff.
There you go. That's one.
Get up. You ain't coming in till tonight. I got one.
Well, anyway, I was telling you about the pets we have. I have 3 ferrets that walk on a leash down Bourbon Street every once in a while. But people around here, they have baboons, chimpanzees, they have ocelots, they have 20-foot snakes, they have pythons. Everything you can imagine. It's crazy and bizarre. They have for a pet here. They have beautiful birds from all over the world. And in our goldfish ponds, they have
Don't break it.
toys.
Give me one.
For one gentleman I know, he owns Pet Talk. He said someone just came in today. He said he had it. Every week he comes in, he buys goldfish, and the snow egrets come down and they pluck them out of his pool. He went and he bought 50 piranhas. So when you go and you lean over, soak your feet in the water, be careful, you never know what's wrong. Nice little gift shop right here. It saved us up a lot of money over here for the mess. Place, excellent place. They have all their Mardi Gras masks. They custom make there. Now, I showed you Brennan's, I showed you Antoine's. Antoine's is the oldest restaurant in New Orleans. There's other restaurants two and one nice one here. This is the Mediterranean. And on Saturday and Sunday, they have the jazz. Well, for $4.75, you can come here and eat breakfast Saturday, Sunday, all you can eat. I know, huh? They caught up on us. Trying to think. Mediterranean there. I've been contacting Mom, right? Until tonight, they won't be anything right this afternoon on Bourbon Street at one of the farms. There won't be anything tonight on Bourbon Street. And of course, go to Preservation Hall, right next to Pat O'Brien's. Oh, you have to leave. Probably the best one would be come back down here. He's an excellent artist. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And Santa, that's just the costume he's wearing for Christmas. Oh, no. Jack's Restaurant. That's the second oldest. Next time they come and everything you want to. Did you go there? Excellent. The best food. Oh yeah. 1857. The presidents and princes have eaten there. But it was designed and opened as a working place. You get a 6-course meal, $20.
Up over here on the corner is Two Jacks.
Hey, shut up. What are you doing on my buggy?
And on the other side, across from Two Jacks, is where you get your lamb meat. Cross over up on the other side is where you get your Pauline candies. And after you get your Pauline candies, that's to keep your lady more sweeter than what she is. You can also get your beignets on the corner. Beignet donuts. But down further where the Jack's Brewery is signed, it's called Cafe Beignet. You can also get onion rings there. Right here, the building that you see is Miss Jean Amanasta Puntalma. Miss Jean Amanasta Puntalma is the lady that built those buildings, drew the plans to them and all. After she done that, her father-in-law shot at her 5 times, but only hit her 4. Bad shot what he was. Yes, and just let me tell you this much. Well, I'll let him tell you the rest.
Thank you, Eddie. That's our comment on the video. I'll tell you a story about the Baroness Puntalma. I'm going to tell you her whole name. It was the Baronessa Michaela Amanesta Puntalma. And she was ugly. The woman was a doll. She was so ugly. She had to marry her cousin in France. Well, legend I hear goes like this. Father-in-law had her because she had a rotten personality as well, so he shot her right in the chest, and now she was ugly and flat. Came back to New Orleans, left her husband, took the money, decided no man would rule her again, was going to do something useful with her life. Her father rebuilt St. Louis Cathedral, the Presbytery, and the Cabildo. She wanted to make it uniform, so she built the upper and lower Puntalma buildings. These are the old apartment buildings. They were built to be apartments. They didn't just become apartments. She got fed up. She didn't like the way the workmen were doing it. She fired the architects and she fired the foremen. She threw on a pair of riding jockers and she climbed the ladder herself and she made them do the building. You like the way that one's coming up? She built that one all the way again herself. She then donated money and fixed up Jackson Square. It used to be a hanging ground and the marching ground for the troops. She donated money for it. Legend has it Andrew Jackson said, "That is one woman who's not a lady. She acts too rough and she's too independent. I'll never tip my hat." $30,000 she paid for that statue, and he's tipping his hat and he's facing her apartment window. She decided she would. That's the legend I heard, and Louisiana's full of legends. We hope you love them all. Thanks for
Oh,
coming.
that was great. Yeah, now that was a good tour.
Did you like it?
Oh, it was great.
Good.
Raising a cat with a pop-up shop. They make a big section. And then when they drop it, that's all they just I think it was constitutional convention. It wasn't an election. Right.
Black man got a son in jail and one in jail. And we playing for his man.
Well, it is one. That's two. One.
Carol.
Since